because we're waiting on Dr. Arikana to join the show right now. So I want to thank all of you for signing in. She is going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes. But I have some breaking news, and that's why I thought, I did come out here and pour out our condolence. Um, as you all have seen, the whole world is shut down because the queen of the Black community, Cicely Tyson, passed away today at the age of 96. At the age of 96, I mean, she's everything for all that know. Even the recent movie, Fall from Grace, and I mean, it's I don't even know how to say it. She is the kind of an icon, a legend, award winner, a pioneering celebrity in the film industry and even fashion where she started. And so she's leaving behind a whole Black African community worldwide, just broken. But of course, also the pride, the honor of sharing the space with such a legend is amazing. For all of you who have never heard, I'm talking particularly to those on the continent because we're so disconnected about Cicely Tyson. You can all Google and you would see what is trending today on the news. On the news, it's just been her. All the media is carrying. You put anything, Google is just all her images, her pictures. And one very important aspect is the book that she wrote, Cicely Tyson, Queen Mother, grandmother, icon, legend, superstar, wrote a book. And she, in this book, I like the best quote of it. And the title of the book is called Just As I Am. And we are going to be discussing about her legacy next week. So we're still looking for some correspondence to share this legacy. Yeah, but one of the most important aspect of her is the quotation in this book where she said, I hope that my book inspires you all to take stock of your own wonderful journey and the blessings that lie there. So that is the quote of Queen Mom who passed away today. And we hope and share our condolences with the entire family, with the siblings, and the whole entire African community, particularly the African American community out there. Yes, so we're going to be discussing her legacy sometime next week on this show because these ancestors that are relocating, and like we said, what is it that they left behind? What can we emulate? What can we learn as a fighter, as a legend, as a voice for the Black community and all what she stood for? Yes, so we're going to be having that session with her. And so, yes, all of you joining me tonight, we're waiting on Queen Mom, Dr. Arikana, and she was just in the studio and then yeah, I don't know. So we'll just wait again and find out. So our topic today, like I already was announcing, is we have to put our mouth where our money is. We have to put our mouth where our money is. Yes. What is Dr. Arikana teaching us or coming to tell us today? She wants to officially launch the 1 million project for the development of Africa. And yes, so, but apart from that, she's also going to give us a small talk on the vaccines as a medical specialist and expert, what we should know in that case, because I mean, there's just too much going on. We've been hearing about those that are taking the vaccines, the outcome of it, and also those that are on it. So Dr. Arikana is live with us now. And I hope that all of you are set and ready for this official launch. So make sure you pack well, like we say in Africa, pack fine. Yeah, you pack well. Yeah, like I said, she's not only going to be telling, she's also going to lecture us about. She told me something 2 days ago, and I was so amazed. The tree of life. I don't know what is the tree of life. but I don't want to be wrong because she's here and she's going to tell us more about that. And like I said, also, she's going to give us a little insight about the vaccines, what we should know from an expert point of view, and then the way forward for the ADDI. She's been missing for all this while. We're also going to know why, and some of us already know why. So I want to welcome Queen Mom, Dr. Ambassador Excellency Arikana Chihombori. Mom, good evening.
Good evening, dear Dora. Thank you for having me, and good evening, or good morning, or good night to all your listeners and viewers.
Yeah, Mom. The Queen of the U.S. Celebrity Award winner passed away today. Cicely
It
Tyson.
was, I think it was yesterday. She
Was it
passed away
yesterday?
yesterday. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
yesterday.
28. 28, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. We have lost a great icon. But I have to say, as I've sat back and listened to a life story, I can't help but continue to be grateful that we
Yes.
have had shoulders like hers to stand on. But more importantly, it gives me more energy and the strength that I need to make sure that when I do pass on as well, the young ones like you will have our shoulders to stand on. And by the time you also pass on, you'll know exactly what you need to do to continue to be the shoulders that those coming behind you can stand on. So her passing should serve as a reminder to all of us that we have a legacy, we have a job to do. They took this movement, they took the struggle to a certain level. We are doing what we can do now as women because of what they did. We are doing what we are doing now as Black people because of the struggles and the fights that the war they waged on our behalf. While the mission is not yet complete, we have a responsibility to make sure that that which they fought for, we will finish. So yes, we've lost an icon, but she's serving as a reminder of how much more we have to do.
Talking about the loss of this year and even, yeah, last year, Mom, we also share our sympathy and condolences with you. We also lost a son, who is your own direct son. And because we're just in that lineage. And so we want to also share that condolences with you and just ask you, yeah, you want to say something on it?
No, nothing really, except thank you for your prayers. And I appreciate all the wishes and the thoughts and the emails and the messages. And it was a shocker, but it was unexpected. So that's what made it more difficult. But thank you for your prayers.
It is well, Mom. We are all transiting, and just like Queen, and just like our son, our brother, yes, we are all just marching time. But what you said is, what is it that we keep behind? What is it that we leave? Some go faster, some go earlier, some go later. At the age of 96, to pass away as an icon, I think is much respect. It's gratitude from us and the African world. Good, Mom, you're looking so good today, and you're in
Thank you
pink.
very much.
Is there any particular reason?
Well, as a Black mother, we don't have a choice. We must always put our best foot forward. It's not easy being a Black woman,
Mhm.
but still we move forward. And so we cannot afford to show the world how we feel internally. We have our children, our husbands, our families to protect. And so we can't afford to have downtime. We just fall and we get up and dust ourselves off and keep going and make the world think everything is wonderful. That's what we do as Black women.
Oh, oh, Mama, if you just know what you're saying right now, huh? Huh. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, when you say that, all women, Black women out there, and Black brothers and husbands out there, who else would not want to have a queen mother and daughter? Of course, even though she's a mother, she's also daughter of the soil, and so we need to hold her back. In just a couple of days, we've been talking about the AU, Mama. I want to start from really where we left because there are some things we cannot ignore. We have to keep talking about them. the AU unopposed candidate is still disturbing. And we've been seeing even or getting some kind of feedbacks how the AU is shaking, how they're going to deal with this on Saturday. Do you have just a statement on it?
Well, I think the situation at the AU is really pathetic. My apologies for my choice of words. It is the first time in the history of the African Union, even when it was OAU, that we have had leadership that is unopposed, particularly the highest position on our beloved continent next to the African heads of states. More importantly, when you look at the fact that 4 years ago, when they were going to be holding elections for the chairman of the African Union Commission, they only had 3 candidates. The heads of states were not comfortable with that. They felt there needed to be more representation from each region. So they postponed the elections precisely because of that. 4 years later, we can't have one person to run unopposed. You can't tell me out of a continent of 1.3 billion people, they could not find other contestants. I can certainly say I did apply, but for various reasons, my original application through the African Union somehow disappeared. It never showed up. And then, of course, votes that were supposed to take place as far as the regional voting as a candidate for the region, again, the meetings were postponed until they were never held. Be it as it may, I'm not sure what reasons why. So I can say for a fact, I did apply, but my name never showed up anywhere. And then another element that people need to be aware, we went through AU reform, which was led by President Kagame. One of the key elements of AU reform was gender parity, particularly starting at the African Union, that all positions shall be held by both men and women. So if the chairman was a man, the deputy has to be a woman. And then regionally, if one commissioner is a man, then the next commissioner can only be a woman. So there is that gender parity, gender balance they are sticking to. But then if we are saying we are going to follow the rules of the reform, and this is the first election that is going to be applying the rules of the reform, we are breaking that rule even before we begin by not allowing women to participate and compete and apply for this highest office. So by having Musa Faki alone and running unopposed, you are automatically eliminating women. And there goes the reform. So what are we talking about? Not only are we getting rid of the reform, not only are we going against the reform as it was approved, we are also not observing democracy. If we are demanding democracy all over the world, in all the countries, why must we not set an example at the African Union and observe democracy as we should expect it? The Africans deserve better. So yes, the plea is to the African heads of states to say 1.3 billion people require representation and true representation, and not be forced to be given a leader that, in general, a lot of people have the general understanding that he's an agent of the French. And I know from people in higher levels, it's a known and accepted fact that he is an agent of the French. And why are we being forced to have such a leader? More importantly, when I know there are many qualified people, I don't particularly care about being the chairman of the African Union. I just think that we needed to have more people to apply for this high office on our beloved land. The current chair was given 4 years, and in 4 years, even when asked what he could say was his accomplishment, he said he could not judge himself because he has none. The African Continental Free Trade Area was already way underway when he came into place. All he did was stand there and accept the keys to the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is based in Accra, Ghana. So he could not even mention one accomplishment. So why then are we giving him another 4 years? It's not fair to the African people. This is the continental body that should be the voice, the loudest voice speaking on behalf of the people, speaking to the ills and the mistreatment and the exploitation of the continent. And yet this voice is quiet. We need and we deserve better. So our plea is to the African heads of states to say, we do not need a dead horse leading us at the African Union Commission. The position is far too important at a very critical time in our history as Africans. We need a real voice that will represent us and represent us well.
Wow. Very, very well spoken. You talked about the gender parity, and that's where my concern is. If we look at the whole entire continent and you look at really our men, uh, I see some fear. I don't know where this fear is coming from when it comes to gender. What's your opinion on that? What should we women be doing
I
actually
don't,
different?
I don't see fear as such, but rather they take us for granted. You'll be surprised sometimes that
Mhm.
men, when they see us, they see their sister, they see their mother, they see their grandmother, but they never quite see us as an equal. But they'll see another man and they automatically see an equal.
Mm.
So we really have to train our men, which is why I implore all of you young mothers, as you are raising your young men, raise them to understand that women are just as equal. It's really a serious undoing that needs to be done in the subconscious of our men. I don't
Yes,
think the fear, it's just kind of, that's just all they know. They grew up, that's just the way it was. Women had their own place. So they have to undo and unlearn this idea that they're automatically superior to women. So I don't think it's a fear, but it's a serious subconscious situation that must be addressed, and each and every man must deal with it and have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror and understand that you're no better than a woman, that a woman is, I like to think that we are even better in the sense that we can juggle 10 balls at the same time. That's something that generally, and all us mothers, us wives can tell you that our husbands cannot juggle two balls at the same time. They'll do fine with one ball, but when you give them the second ball, you better be there to catch the second one when it falls. So it's really conversations that we need to continue to have. I don't think they're afraid of us. They just need to realize that we are just as good as they are.
absolute. Good. For that reason, we are here today to talk on the topic of officially launching our 1 million project. And the topic we talked about is putting our mouth where our money is, particularly also in terms of women to step up the game. If we're much better, why aren't we organizing to come up with a budget that we can freely exhaust? Of course, I'm not keeping the men out. You talked about the tree. Could you just maybe lecture us a little bit? And before we get into this official launch, how is it supposed to? Why is it important? Over to you, Ma.
Well, I often say the reason the diaspora are not participating in the development of Africa to the extent that we should, it's not because we don't want to, but most of the time we are fed wrong information. In my own analysis, before going to the AU and Washington as the AU permanent representative, I felt very strongly that we were not focusing on where the real issues were. I felt very strongly that we were being thrown a shiny object and we were running after the shiny object, when in fact, this shiny object was a distraction meant to send us away from where the real issues are. During the
Mhm.
time that I have had to sit down and really try and organize my thinking, and of course, during my tenure as the African Union permanent representative, I saw up close and personal, with clear 2020 vision, how the games were being played and how everything was distorted and how we are where we are today. I saw it up close and personal. This year, 2021, I've been talking about colonization and its effects, but I felt that I needed to solidify the message, sharpen it a little bit more. And I couldn't help but keep finding myself going back to this African tree of life. The
Mhm.
African tree of life, which I do believe when we talk about the Garden of Eden in the Bible, we're talking about Africa. The Garden of Eden that has since been destroyed, the tree of life that has since been destroyed, is a tree that is now ailing. So if you want to understand what is going on in Africa, let's look at it from the point of view of what has been done to this ailing African tree of life that was once the Garden of Eden. I am breaking down the issues, fundamental issues that are ailing our continent into two categories. One category of this tree are issues below the ground, Those are the issues of the root. Those are the issues you must absolutely understand. Because if you don't understand the issues of the root, it doesn't matter what you do, the issues above the root will always continue. The issues on the ground, above the root, above the ground, on this ailing tree, will never be resolved. What are the issues above ground? The issues above the ground are issues of corruption, poor health care, poor education, disease and starvation, poor leadership. All those are issues above the tree. They're the leaves, they're the flowers, they're the bud fruit, they're the branches. They fall off, they come and go, and they fall off, they come and go. If you do not go back and say, why are these fruits not as juicy as they used to be? Why is this tree no longer producing good fruits? Why are the leaves drying out faster than they should? Why are the branches falling off? Take a moment. Have you thought about looking at the root? Have you asked yourself, what is really going on in this root? We're pouring water into this root, but nothing is happening. This tree is not thriving. Still on the issues above the root, let me give you an example. Tell me one African country. They always try to throw leadership as the only problem in Africa. I'm not saying we don't have problems with leadership, but I'm saying tell me one African country that has changed its leaders and things changed. The answer is none, because it is an issue above the root. What are the issues in the root? Let's start with what happened. Oh, my apologies. Let's start with when the colonizers first came to our beloved continent of Africa. Excuse me, my daughter. Honey, can you take the child, please? Could you go to grandpa? You need to go to grandpa. I am so sorry.
No, why?
It
is part of it. He wants to be part of the program.
Okay, you can stay here as long as you're quiet, okay?
Yes.
What are the issues of the root? The issues of the root, no, I don't think this is gonna work. She's gonna wanna play.
Oh my, she's so sweet. Go ahead, Ma. It's okay.
Go to grandpa. Yeah. When the colonizers, my really apologies, audience, for the I have a full house of grandchildren.
I know, Mama. Let her just stay there on her. Yeah, it's okay. I wish I have been there to babysit her, but yes, she wants to be on the program. She's already taking part.
Yes, she is. So like I was saying, let's take it back to when the colonizers first came to Africa. They found an amazing continent, which was once upon a time the center of the world. The continent that gave birth to civilization, the continent that taught the world what it means to be human, the continent that is the mother of humanity. They were not happy. They could not believe that there could be such a continent and such a people. So they wondered how on earth they could control and manipulate this vast continent and all its riches. And they decided to go for the mind. I want everybody to understand that problem of the root number one, when it comes to our deep understanding of our beloved continent and her issues, is the mind. When the missionaries were sent to Africa, they were sent with specific instructions to teach the Africans how to read, but not to reason, to mastermind a plan to brainwash the Africans, to make the Africans believe that everything to do with Africa was bad and undesirable, and everything European was better. In the process, they were stealing what Africa already had and sending it to Europe and claiming it as their own. How did they do that? One basic one that I still don't know to this day. Have you ever wondered this issue of black and white? Prior to the colonizers coming to Africa, prior to the settlers coming to Africa, we had no color. We were Africans, but they came and taught us about colors. They said there's a color called white, black, yellow, orange. So we learned that. And then they said, oh, by the way, let's now go to church. There is a heaven, a place called heaven. We already had our own heaven. We had different names for heaven. We had our gods, we had our superior power. We knew how to worship. We knew we had our own equivalent of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill, love their neighbors. 10 Commandments are universal, no matter which religion you belong to. It's about a righteous way of living with each other. But they took us to church and said there's a place called heaven and there's a place called hell. In heaven, there are beings called angels, and they are white. And by the way, we may not look like this white sheet of paper that we just told you about, but never mind that. We are white like the angels. And there's a place called hell. And hell, there's a being called a devil. And that devil is black, just like the piece of paper we just told you about. And by the way, you too are black like the devil. And we never questioned it. They told the Africans, they told us that we were black like the devil, and we said, okay. And then they told us they were white like the angels, and we said, okay. And then they said Jesus Christ was also white like them, which is far from the truth. Jesus Christ was not white. Jesus Christ, even the Bible says his skin was crimson. When Mary and Joseph were running away from King Herod, they were told to go to Egypt. Why Egypt? Because in Egypt, they would blend with others who looked like him. Had they told them to go to Europe, Jesus Christ would have stood out like a sore tooth. So we know Jesus Christ is not white. These are all games being played to make sure that we black people hate who we are. So yes, they said, come to church, get on your knees and worship Jesus Christ, who is white, and worship the white angels. And what are you doing subconsciously? You're worshiping the white race. You're worshiping the white people. The missionaries who were sent to Africa long before slave trade, this is how they manipulated and brainwashed the Africans. I need everybody to understand that. I often say when I'm speaking, I stop and say to the audience, let me ask you one question. And I need you to answer it to yourself. What color are the angels? And I will pause. And I'll say, let me guess. You said white. And the whole room will just burst out laughing. And I'll ask the same question. What color is the devil? Let me guess. You said black. This day and age. And the reason people laugh is because they would have answered the question themselves and say, oh, snap. I said black. Oh, snap. I said white. Because you have never gotten there. You automatically just know it. Who has died and gone to heaven and seen white angels? Who has died and gone to hell and seen a black devil? Being a devil or an angel is based on deeds. The police officer who sat on the neck of George Floyd for 8 minutes and 40 seconds is the personification of a devil. Color has got nothing to do with it. Color has nothing to do with it. And yet, as black people everywhere we go, the self-hate that was instilled upon us centuries ago is keeping us from uniting. It's keeping us from doing what we need to do to bring and build our Africa together. It is keeping us from doing what other nationalities have been able to do when it comes to building their nations. Tell me why to this day, when you go to African churches, you still see a white Jesus. Why haven't we engaged in the damaging effects of continuing to push a white Jesus when we know very well it is designed to brainwash the black person? Jesus Christ was black. And that is my humble opinion. And the Bible says so. Problem number one, the mind. We must understand that we are the mothers and fathers of humanity. We are not representatives or personifications of a devil, like we have been brainwashed to think. Our children automatically know Black is not beautiful. Black people spend the rest of our life aspiring to be something that we can never be. We don't need to be anything else. We just need to be who we are. The proud, the beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, and totally indestructible Africans. So until we have that serious conversation with the image in the mirror and understand that we were intentionally brainwashed for the purposes of controlling us and manipulating us to perpetuity, nothing we do is gonna change. When you go to that boardroom table with a mind that feels that you're Black and you're inferior, garbage in, garbage out, you can never represent us well. But when your mind is in the right place and you know who you are about, and your feet are squarely anchored on the ground, when you go to that boardroom table, you're going to fight for the Black people. You're going to represent us well. And that is why, even today, some of you may know I had a story from Lagos, Nigeria that just broke my heart. That if you wanted to have a contract, to get a contract in Nigeria, if you go with a white person with a briefcase and a suit, you have a better chance of getting that contract. Really? In our own beloved Africa, but it is the truth. I have been a victim of the same stupidity myself, where I am being bypassed by my own young one who could easily be my granddaughter, not waiting on me on a table because a white couple just happened to come after me and they're sitting next to me. It is the mind. I cannot overemphasize. Problem number one of the root is the mind. The reason we are unable to deal and address the issues that we need to be addressing right now, like why do I need a visa to run around Africa? To this day, we can do that. We can fix that. But the mind. Why is it that we're just now beginning to talk about ability to trade with each other as African countries, ability to eliminate the borders as African countries? Why has it taken us this long? It boils down to the mind. Why aren't we able to build our Africa, pull our monies together? It goes back to the mind because we have been programmed. Unless a white man comes to give it to us, we can't do it. We are programmed to look for a job. We are programmed to be an employee, but never to own. It was all by design. So if I can make you remember one thing, is how they took over our minds, manipulated us, to where right now we are almost like we've undergone a genetic mutation of sheer stupidity. There's so many dumb things we do as Black people that has got to change. Problem number two, and that's my humble opinion. When the colonizers decided they were going to leave Africa, that was in the 1950s and 1960s. The only thing they did, my brothers and sisters, and be clear about this, they only gave us limited political liberation. Even those who became first heads of states of Africa, they decided who they were going to allow to be the president of that country. And I say limited political liberation because to a great extent, they still use their financial resources to manipulate and play games in our elections in Africa. What they did not give up was economic liberation. You see, during colonization, if you were colonized by the British, you were led from London. If you were colonized by the French, that country was led from Paris, and so forth. Well, guess what? Those multinational companies that were in those colonized countries, they never left. They just went quiet. They continued with their business. They continued to hold all the pillars of development in any country. They're the ones that employ the majority of the citizens in those countries to this day. Do you realize what that means? That means the heads of states of those countries don't truly have control of the economies. Because if you do not control manufacturing industry, if you don't control the pillars of economic development in your country, you have no control. And if you try to change that dynamic because of their financial influence, they can take you down. You won't win the next election. They will use the threats and issues of leaving your country. Can you imagine a company that can employ 20, 30,000 people just decide they're leaving the country and moving next door? For every employee that is laid off, you're impacting the lives of at least 5 other people. So there are constant real threats that are given to these heads of states because of the continued colonization. The multinationals have never left Africa, and they continue to control the African economy. Until that is addressed, nothing is going to change. Problem number 3, the international finance systems. The systems that were created with the understanding that their success is based on the failures of developing nations, the majority, of course, being Africa, and Africa being on the top of their list, because everything they need can and is found in Africa. The policies that make it difficult for African countries to get fair interest rates when they apply for funding, policies that make these rating agencies unfairly rate African nations poorly. The last I looked, the majority of the African countries have paid their loans on time. Maybe 2 or 3 at one point or another have defaulted on their loan repayment, but the majority of the African countries have never, I repeat, have never defaulted on their loan repayments. Therefore, why are they being rated poorly? They're being rated poorly so they can justify giving them these high interest rates that they can never finish repaying. The average African country today is paying about 1/3 of their GDP towards loan repayment. That's more than they can put into healthcare and education combined. How can you run a country under such constraints? Rule number 3, problem number 3 of the root. Problem number 4 of the root, the international trade policies. World Trade Organization that gives a blind eye to countries like Switzerland when they claim to have the best coffee, the best chocolate. Where are all those fields that the Swiss are growing the coffee and the tea and the chocolate? A lot of it is coming from Africa. 65% of the world cocoa is grown in West Africa. They have built cities based on cocoa beans from Africa. Cadbury City, Hershey City. Where is the chocolate city in Africa? When African countries have tried to add value to our cocoa, the tariffs put on the value-added products are so prohibitive that it's not even worth them adding value to our natural resources. Can you imagine if we were to say everything that requires coltan in Africa must be manufactured in Africa? 65% of the world coltan, if not more, is in the DR Congo. Every microchip that requires coltan, if it could be manufactured in Africa, we could eliminate youth unemployment in Africa today. Every laptop, every iPhone, every electric battery, if that microchip could be manufactured in Africa, we would eliminate unemployment. But of course, they won't allow it. What is the World Trade Organization doing about it? Nothing, because they're part of the games that they play to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated. Have you ever wondered why it is so difficult for African nations to add value to any of our natural resources? It's because it's all by design. They want to make sure that we create jobs for them in the Western world. Africa is just going to sit back and we continue to be consumers of the products that they would have added value with our own natural resources. It is a game, and they know exactly what they're doing. World Trade Organization should be held accountable. They need to stop giving a blind eye to those countries that are taking natural resources out of Africa and relabeling them as if they're originating in their own countries. Because some of the best teas, best coffees in the world, our farmers are being given pennies on the dollar. Unacceptable, and it has got to stop. Again, it goes back to the mind to say, why haven't we done something about it? We can fix this. That needs to change. So the trade policies are skewed against the Africans. That's another issue that must be addressed. Let's go to the next level. Problem number 5. Problem number 5, I think it's number 6 now, isn't it? Problem number 6. It is now you and I. The brain drain that has occurred outside Africa over the many centuries, starting with the children of Africa being taken out of Africa as slaves. And of course, for those who are descendants of the formerly enslaved, I want you to know that no one should ever make you feel inferior. When they were choosing which Africans to take as slaves, they took the most intelligent and the fittest, the ones they felt would survive the transatlantic journey, and the ones they felt would make better workers when they arrive abroad, wherever they ended up. They took Africa's cream de la creme. So don't you ever let anybody make you feel inferior. You are the real McCoy. So brain drain started back then, followed by some of us who left Africa in search of greener pastures for various reasons. The end result, my brothers and sisters, let's be clear. Not a single African country today has the capacity to build an airport. Not a single African country has the capacity to build a railway line. However, in the continent, if we could unite, there is enough capacity. But as individual African countries, no, we do not. And this is where you come in as the African diaspora. To truly understand that you can't sit 10,000 miles away and complain that the African leaders are not developing Africa with what? I like to use an example of Ghana, my beloved country. There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City than in the entire country of Ghana. How is President Nana Addo supposed to develop the healthcare systems in Ghana when the doctors are in New York City? How is President Buhari supposed to improve the healthcare systems in Nigeria when there are more Nigerian doctors in Los Angeles than in Nigeria? And the same is true with every country and every sector. And this is where you come in. With the African Continental Free Trade Area, we're opening the doors and creating an Africa that is easy to do business. And guess what? Those with the expertise, those with their funds have been waiting, just ready to jump into an Africa and take it all over, while the real inheritors, us, are still fast asleep. We are not poor people. All we need is to unite. We're not dumb people. All we need is to have the facts so we can make the right decisions. But for us to make the right decisions, we must wake up. We must wake up and understand the issues for what they are and refuse to continue to be fed lies. We've been making decisions based on lies, lies that were intentionally fed to us, so we'll never realize what an inheritance we have. I know many people who don't even want to be called Africans. I know many Africans who say, no, I'll never go back to Africa. I was disheartened by one young man. The mother was African-American and the father was Nigerian. And he told me, he said, before my father died, he told me, he made him promise that he'll never go to Nigeria. How sad is that? What? How sad is that? Yes. So I'm on a mission. I told the young man, I said, I'm taking you to Nigeria. I said, I'm going to Africa with you, babe. He can afford. He's a man of means. But his father made him promise that he'll never go to Nigeria. A Nigerian man. That's how deep our problems are. I've had many African Americans in my case, even on the radio. But Ambassador, we African Americans are different. How are you different? When you walk down the street with my husband in the streets of Los Angeles, they're not going to see a black man born in Los Angeles and a black man born in Ghana. They're going to see two black men, plain and simple.
Correct.
And I can take you to Accra with my husband, the same African American, and you're walking down the street of Accra with my husband, they see two black men. They see two Africans. As a black person, if you refuse Africa, then who are you? Where do you come from? If I may use an example of the United States, which is a melting pot. With the exception of the American Indians, the Native American Indians, everybody else is an immigrant, and they know where they come from. The German Americans, the Italian Americans, the Irish Americans, the Chinese, the Indians, the Mexicans, they all know where they come from. So as a Black man, where do you come from? The reality is, the average Black person living in this country, in my case, I'm talking about the United States, you feel like you're tolerated wherever you are because you don't quite belong there. You are tolerated. When I opened the African Union Mission in Washington, D.C., I said, this is the people's house. Children of Africa, come home. This is where you belong. I remember one time we had an event and the youth were there. They were having so much time. I told the security guard, let them stay as long as they want. They are home. And about 11 p.m., one young man came to me, an African American, and he said, Ambassador, I've never been anywhere in my 22 years of life that I felt I belonged until I came to the African Union Mission. I've never felt being anywhere where I belonged until I came to the African Union Mission. That's what this is about. It's about anchoring our children, which is why it's a sad day that in 2021, we are still talking of African Americans, African Caribbean, African Latino, who still don't know where they come from. African leaders, we ask you to deal with this situation as a matter of agency. Call upon your children. Let them be just like the Jews. A Jew may never step foot on the country of Israel, but they know Israel is home and they can go to Israel wherever they want. So the mind, the 6th point is going to be the brain drain, which must be reversed. If we are going to build the Africa that we want in a sustainable way, the brain drain must be reversed. 2 things that we got to do to accomplish this: unite. And after we unite, we pull our financial resources together, just like the Jews did after Holocaust. They pulled their pennies together to where now the Jews financially, they're the most powerful group of people because they pulled their monies together. Nobody wants to talk to a poor man. When you have no money, you have no voice. Sit down and shut up. So as long as we are continuing to complain from 10,000 miles away about what African leaders should be doing in Africa and what are they doing and what they're not doing, guess what? As long as you're a noisemaker and you have no plan and you're not putting your money where your mouth is, I suggest just go home and shut up. Go home and shut up. It doesn't work like that. Don't sit here and complain about the Chinese taking over Africa. What have you done to block them? Nothing. See, you're waiting for somebody to do it. But here's the other ticker. They won't complain if it was the white people taking over Africa, but they'll complain because it's the Chinese. Well, I like what one ambassador told me. He said, Ambassador, we got problems in our village. And he said, the Chinese are like the hyena. The hyena will go to your fields around the village, but the hyena will eat some and leave some, knowing that there are people who also need to eat. So the Chinese are like the hyena around our village. The colonizers, on the other hand, are like the lions and the tigers. They storm into the village, they eat everything that they can eat, they take what they can take, what they cannot take, they destroy. Regardless of who they are, the tiger or the hyena, they both gotta go. They gotta get out of our village. So don't let the tiger try to warn you about the hyena. What platform is this tiger standing on warning you about the hyena who are the Chinese? What are the Chinese doing that they have not been doing for centuries? And you're going to be used as the mouthpiece for them to continuously badmouth the Chinese. No, they both gotta go. The exploitation of Africa must end. But naturally, you don't expect them to just stop exploiting Africa. What are you doing to stop them? The contracts that are coming out of Africa today through the African Continental Free Trade Area are calling for contractor funding. So you see, those with money are going to get those contracts to build the railway line, to build the airport, to build the roads, to build the manufacturing that is going to be needed, to build everything, because they have the money. Well, my brothers and sisters, I am saying to you, until we pull our funds together. Economic liberation was denied from us, and until we pull ourselves by the bootstraps, without economic liberation, we are going to continue to be servants in our own land of Africa. We are going to be reduced to mere workers. We are going to be reduced to being happy that there's a train that we can ride from Cape Town to Cairo, from Djibouti to Senegal. But who owns that railway line? Who owns that highway? Who owns the manufacturing plants? Who owns the commercial agricultural farms? It won't be you. You are simply going to be happy that you can go to the grocery store that you don't own and you can buy bread. Who grew the wheat? Who owns the wheat farm? We are being reduced once again to be workers and consumers of goods that we do not own. That has got to change. So with that, I registered an entity called African Diaspora Development Institute. It is an institute that is designed to be the bridge between the African diaspora and the motherland. It is an institute that's saying enough is enough. As children of Africa, we have woken up and we can see clearly now with 2020 vision. Now we understand the games that they've been playing with us, and we know the issues above the root and the issues below the ground. And that until we address the issue of the root, nothing above the ground is going to change on this beloved tree of life that is Africa. We must rebuild our Garden of Eden. And to build our Garden of Eden is going to take unity, and it's going to take funding. I urge all of you to go to our ADDI.org, OURADDI.org. Just join. Joining is free. We want to know who you are, what you do, and where you are. So when we need you today, we just had a wonderful presentation from Zambia. Beautiful projects. Zambia is saying, come home to Zambia. Those are the projects. And I gave the sham spiel to the diaspora today. I said, now you know, those are the contracts, from very small to very big. If you don't go home to take them, guess what? Don't blame the president when the Chinese come with their money and they take the contract. The managing director for Zambian Development Agency, he took the message home. He said, Ambassador, my biggest problem is I am bombarded with Chinese coming to my office. I don't see any diaspora. How do you think he's going to know where you are? So we've started the journey. Starting with today, Zambian Development Agency know how to reach the diaspora. That's what I'm talking about. When we have 1 million people with $1,000 right there, we got $1 billion. We can go in and say, President Lungu, we're home. We want that contract. Now make it 2 million people with $1,000. Now make it 5 million people with $1,000, year in and year out. We need to have a fund that is ready to fund all those projects that diaspora are going to be acquiring in our Africa. That is how we get rid of the hyena from our village. That is how we chase away the lion from our village. It's not going to happen because we wished it out from 10,000 miles away. Come on, folks, wake up. This is not a joking matter. It's about our children and generations to come. Cicely, Tyson, and others before her, they fought a good fight, and they left us where we are today. We have a responsibility to honor them, and the way we honor them is by taking this struggle to the next level.
Whew. You all heard that, and we are opening up. It is time for us to build that 1 billion fund. You all heard her. We all know it. We have to shut up and do the work. We have to put our money where our mouth is, or our mouth where our money is. So yes, it is time. It is time. And how many watching just from this source? Close to 270 on the other sources, and we about 3,000 watching. Imagine 3,000 just signing in for €1,000. And this is an account that you're opening. It is just but obvious. I don't know how to say it again. She said it all. It's the mama, it's the mother. You all wish for a liberated Africa, but it's not going to be given on a plate. We know. So we are opening up the lines. Please make a contribution officially. What we are saying is we want, Mom, can you just repeat again?
Well, basically, ADDI is an entity that's paving the way. We are going to be opening offices in every African country. We are wanting to
Mhm.
make sure that any diaspora that end up investing in a country, their investment is protected. The biggest problem African diaspora have had, they've gone home. I know many who have lost money, many who have gone home and came back frustrated, is because they did not have the right protections. So ADDI has a big plan, a big vision to open ADDI offices in every country. For example, Zambia, we are most likely going to have, by now we should have had an office in Zambia had it not been for COVID. But because of the
Correct.
program that we're presented today, there is huge interest, huge, when I say huge, I'm talking huge. Diaspora already, I'm inundated with calls, people saying, Ambassador, I need to get involved. How do I get involved? How do I invest? We have a trade and investment desk that is now working at organizing that. We have projects already from Tanzania. Tanzania has presented to us, and now we are looking at, today we had Zambia. We have countries lined up that are coming to the diaspora and sharing with us the opportunities in their countries. We are saying, when diaspora go into a country, we want to make sure they're protected. In Zambia, we are going to have an MOU with Zambian Development Agency, and we will make sure that every entity, every registration is fast-tracked and it is protected. The diaspora are no longer going to be taken advantage of. To do all that, it takes money. It takes money. We have teams of volunteers right now, every sector, trade and investment, finance. We're looking tomorrow. We're introducing a bank that we are going to start in Antigua. It'll be an offshore bank. We need, and then we're going to have next week, we're going to do a presentation on the African Diaspora Development Holdings. This will be a fund. So the legal team is going to be presenting to the diaspora how this holding company is going to operate. All that right now, I have nothing but volunteers. Nobody's getting paid. Now, you know, we can't sustain that with no permanent employees who are doing it 8 hours a day. So we're looking to say, if we were to get $1 million, it'll give us a good start and help us in opening the first 5 regional ADDI offices that will cater to all those diaspora that are going to be moving into Africa for the purposes of investment. We want to make sure that we give cover to the diaspora as they go and do business in Africa. For example, once we sign the MOU with Zambian Development Agency, they have a fee to become a member. But because of the relationship they're going to have with ADDI, once a member or an affiliate of ADDI, your company is now part of that membership fee that's coming from ADDI, and you no longer have to pay. All those things require money. So we are saying we need an initial starting budget of about $1 million in order for us to accomplish the bare minimal activities that we need to get involved in. I am all in. I'm a medical doctor. I could be working as a medical doctor, but because of the amount of work that putting ADDI together requires, I cannot even work as a doctor. But I'm willing.
Correct.
I'm willing to put my time. Nobody's getting paid, including me. So we need to come together. Whatever expertise that you have, bring it to the table. Let me put it in a simple caption. Think of it as building a house. We are at the foundational level. And we're going to need people who are bricklayers and drywall people, roofers, plumbers, electricians, furniture people. But think of it, the house is still at the foundation level. We need money to build this house. We need money to complete this house. And it takes all of us doing our part, playing our part, so we can stop being noisemakers and pave a path that we can actually say, I can be part of this, and I can leave it behind for my children. People say, Ambassador, how can you put all your energies into this? I said, I put my energies into it because I'm doing it for my grandchildren. My satisfaction
Correct.
is in knowing that you, my daughter Susan Tata, while I'm gone, you're going to be the elder who will cover my granddaughter's back. And I hope she too will cover the generations to come. That's how it's supposed to be, my brothers and sisters. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's done in other races, in other nationalities. That's how it's done. Let's not forget that. It cannot be a case of my kids have to start all over again. My grandkids have to start all over again. No, we pass it on. So yes, the $100, 1 million is going towards making sure that the projects that we want to start is actually the beginning. We want to fund the projects that we want to see succeed, the work that we need to do to make sure that diaspora are protected when they go to Africa to invest. So yes, the $1 million campaign, we're saying, play your part, stand up and be counted. We need money to make sure that ADDI can do the work that we need to do.
Okay, I see some questions in the chat. I'll just open up the line and take some few questions for those who want to ask direct questions, because I know there's just a lot coming out here. There's a question coming up, but this presentation today is really mouth-on-mouth direct, but we're going to be hosting ADDI. Queen Mom is going to be here also with the different representatives. If you want to ask about the one-on-one books, how to get it, we've been telling a couple of times it's on Amazon. Mom, you want to say something again about this book? We've been having a lot of questions on it.
Africa 101 is a book that I wrote after leaving the mission. I had given many talks. I had recorded a lot of videos, but I thought I had done a lot of videos that a lot of people by now understood what was really going on in Africa. To my surprise, every time I addressed a group of people, none of them had never even heard about me, had never listened to any of my videos. And then I thought to myself, now what else can I do to spread the message, to get people to really understand what is going on in our Africa? Because I find that when people understand, their viewpoint changes, their thinking changes. And that's really where we run into, because we have some very educated people whose thinking is just in the wrong place. They're just not getting it. I mean, it's like one economist at the World Bank saying to me, but Ambassador, why do we keep talking about the Berlin Conference? It's a thing of the past. That's an economist at the World Bank, an African one for that matter. He has no realization that Berlin Conference is still alive. The reason they sat for 4 months in the cold Berlin winter from 1885 to 1884 to 85, they were strategizing on how to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated. That policy has not changed. Little Togo is still there. Central Africa is still there. Benin is still there. Little bitty countries that cannot survive on their own and therefore easy to manipulate and exploit. So Berlin Conference is alive and well, but people did not make that connection. It was just history. Africa 101 is saying, know your history. So it's called 101 because it is the beginning of understanding what has been done to us. Africa 101 tells you where we have been, what we have been through, what we continue to go through, but what we need to do to get out of these doldrums that we found ourselves in. Africa101.org. You can get your copy. The hardcover will be autographed, but at the end of every chapter, you can also, there's a barcode. You click on the barcode with your camera on your phone, and it'll take you to the website, to the YouTube channel where you can listen to a recording of me talking about that particular chapter, why I wrote it, and what I hope you can get out of it. I did that because I wanted to make sure even those who cannot read can at least listen to my video and get the message. There's a total of 25 videos that you can listen to in addition to the written material. It's a book that's written in a manner that everybody should be able to understand. I would hope it will be a coffee table book for every home, because every chapter is talking about a different subject matter. You can take that and use it to start a conversation with your children and begin to teach them the history and begin to undo the lies that we have been fed. Africa 101, the wake-up call. We all must read it and understand it, and it is our responsibility to share our history with our children.
Good, perfect. I mean, we all we all must own it. As a matter of fact, like we said, even Professor James Small was here. Dr. Professor Nichols is coming tomorrow to talk about exactly the Pan-African Online Institute for Applied Indigenous Knowledge. And one-on-one is going to be one of those books that we're putting out there because we don't have enough literature, like you're saying, ma'am. And we want to go back to just, we have a whole line of the best historians and professors out there that want to start giving back in this kind of, in the digital age, like you're saying. We have Professor Jefferson's, all of them have been on the show here, but they are putting up a library and an online institute, which we're currently doing on the Pan African Daily TV to connect through these literatures, the authors, the great ones like Cicely just wrote in his memoir, Just As I Am. How many Africans would even know about it? Where should they find it? Amazon, yes, but at least an institute where we have. Do you envisage something like this? Like we have too many organizations. ADDI, when people talk about ADDI, it's always going to be like, we need is ADDI embodying all the organizations that we say groups could belong, and then we have the branches? What is the structure like?
ADDI is the entity that all organizations and individuals can be members of. For example, today, a young lady with a construction company in Atlanta, she says, Ambassador, I have tried to get contracts to build in Africa, and often I'm viewed as a small company and I never get the contracts. And I said, my daughter, right now I can send you 5 other companies just like you. You can all come together and bid together. Now you'll get the contract. ADDI is the gathering point. ADDI is like the mother with 10 children. Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, birthdays, marriages, weddings, we come together. You may have your own children and grandchildren, but home is where you come together to strategize, to talk about the issues of the tribe and what we need to do. Think of ADDI as the gathering place. When you become a member, like I said, when we have our MOU with ZDA, that fee that we pay as ADDI, it will cover you. Because if you try to get services from ZDA on your own, you're not going to get them. So we are talking about paving the way for us to go home. ADDI can only make you better. ADDI can only make you better. 2 weeks ago, there was a young man with a platform similar to Facebook. He came and presented to ADDI. He came back the following week because a lot of people had questions. And he said, Ambassador, in 1 week, my membership grew 120%. ADDI can only make you better. So whatever it is that you're doing, we want you to link up with your brothers and sisters who are in the same field. So when you are big, you can bid for contracts in Africa because you will be a powerhouse. But alone, it's like fighting with the pinky finger when you could fight with a fist. ADDI is saying, let's create a fist and let's stop fighting with the pinky finger.
Absolute. Okay, we're going now. Like I said, yes, I'm opening. I'm opening the calls to take direct questions that you want to ask. But remember, we posted the link already, ouraddi.org. Sign in, create an account for yourself, present your project if you have, an initiative if you have, and we putting up this structure. I am thankful, Mom, that I made an executive board of this. I signed it happily on this structure, and you know where my focus is, the media. And yeah, okay. Before we continue, I think we have some callers that are so itchy, and they actually open the lines. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Yes.
Dear sister and dear mom.
Yeah, please. I know it's gonna really be hot, and there are a lot of calls already coming in. Let's just keep it short. Go straight to the question. And yes, thank you.
Just one question, really.
Yeah.
Just one question, mom. I want for you to, hear me clear, so that you will not get me wrong. Because the question which I have, it get me, it troubles my mind. So I want to know from you, mommy. Hear me well, please. You said some of your conference or the videos, you said that the contribution of the ADDI, it will be, investment. But now, this couple days, I hear that this he said it will be, donation. So it makes me confused.
Donation.
And some of my
colleagues. Let me. No, I think there were people who really misunderstood.
Okay.
ADDI is a 501c3. We do not handle investments. ADDH, African Diaspora Development Holdings, which has been now registered, is going to handle all the investments.
Okay.
ADDI is a 501c3. I am encouraging people to be part of the fund, but that is not ADDI. ADDI is a non-profit organization. We cannot get involved in investments.
Correct.
So there may be just some misunderstanding. I think sometimes even when we are having our programs, even after having said it like I just said, people will start sending comments. Where do I send my money to invest? No, we just told you. ADDI is a 501c3, which is why if you heard me earlier, I said in a couple of weeks, the legal team is going to be talking about African Diaspora Development Holdings and the special purpose vehicles that are going to come out of it. For example, the investments out of Zambia, out of Tanzania, which is the list we have now, they're all going to fall under ADDH as special purpose vehicle, which will be in the form of investment clubs, where people can pool their money together. If they want to invest $100,000 into this cotton farming project, then they pool their $100,000 together. That becomes an SPV with its own management, its own shareholding. Our job is to pave the way and facilitate all those investments in a way that diaspora can move forward. So I think you misunderstood me. Yes, we are looking for we're talking about investment money, but that investment money does not come to ADDI. The investment money goes towards your investment of a specific project. So this year, what we're looking to do also, beginning March, we're going to be presenting at least one investment opportunity to the diaspora. That is outside ADDI. ADDI, let me repeat, cannot collect investment money. We are not an investment company. We are a nonprofit. And the reason we are talking about the donation today is because that's what Susan wanted to focus on how we can raise money for ADDI. But the fund is still there. When I talk about $1,000 from 1 million people, that's for the fund. So stay tuned. You're going to be hearing more about ADDH. My apologies for the confusion.
Okay. All right, Ma. We're taking this next call. Hello?
Okay. Yeah. Can I want to make a suggestion to Doctor.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. First, I want to thank you for, I've never had this opportunity to talk to Dr. Arikana. I'm actually a student in Germany, and I have seen the impact of what she's doing. And I want to first of all congratulate her and tell her that even if she's not selected to become the AU, to take that AU leadership position, that the impact of what she's doing to the minds of some people of African youths is really, really something that you cannot quantify. Okay, then I want to also say my suggestion is that the media doesn't really see this the work she's doing. Yeah, because each time I've gone to all the platforms on YouTube, all the platforms, where I see Dr. Arikana Chihombori and even PLO Lugumba, and you just see that the view is very little. Now, the problem is that the kind of content that the listeners, which are young people, need is not really fully integrated. And I think that Doctor can be strategic about attracting African youth She can be strategic about attracting the diaspora. There is something that is now the trend in among the diaspora and the African in Africa. And the thing is the Afro beats, music, dance. It may look like it's just arts and dance, but these people are moving grounds. They are breaking grounds in various industries. They are breaking grounds even in businesses. Now, even in United Kingdom, yes, there's Afrobeat is wild. So I think that if Doctor can kind of bring these young guys, if there's any way she can attract the likes of Davido and the likes of Wizkid, just to tweet something, just to know what she's doing. If she can surround herself with those kind of young people, especially in Nigeria. I'm Nigerian, but I'm not saying it because I'm Nigerian. But I know that the population or something, there's something about the loudness of Nigerians.
Okay.
And if she can strategically,
No.
if she can strategically use that, okay.
I get your point. I get your point. I just wanted to say this is a suggestion that you can send at our ADDI. And everything you're saying is just on point. The influencers on the continent, we're putting up a list on that, and they will be followed up, like Burna Boy and all this. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
Please, this will work.
Yes, it will. It will. Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, to the young man,
Go
I
ahead.
would like to ask you to send up your information. And this is what ADDI is about. Whatever you can bring, whatever tool you can bring to ADDI to make ADDI better, you're welcome to. So maybe you could come and join our media team and also take part in promoting ADDI wherever you are. And that's what it's all about. It's all, I mean, if you think about it, ADDI is a monster. My husband used to laugh at me and he would say, my honey, you cannot unite people from your own village. What makes you think you can unite diaspora around the globe? And I would always laugh at him and say, well, my mother used to always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's an elephant. Trying to put ADDI is an elephant. But let's just concentrate on the bite at hand. Let's chew that well, make sure we swallow before we take the next bite. But eventually we'll get there.
Absolute. All right. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, my name is Abraham. Living in the United States in Philadelphia. Yeah, thank you so much for everything you are doing to promote Africa and our mother. We call Mama Africa. That's how we call Dr. Chihombori, Mama Africa, here in Philadelphia, because she's well known, even though probably she's not planning on visiting Philadelphia.
She will.
So much. Thank you guys so much for everything you are doing. But I have one question regarding the book. Is any way she's thinking of marketing this book in Africa, in the continent, or finding a way to introduce this book in universities? Because what we understand is most of our colleagues in Africa, most of our brothers in Africa are not too aware of her efforts, what she is doing to promote the continent, the awareness, the consciousness she's enlightening on the continent. Most of them are not aware of this. So I'm wondering if she is really thinking of that, how she can market this book to universities in Africa so that our brothers will begin to understand what is consciousness, how to secure their Africa, how we can make Africa proud, and how we can promote our agendas.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be looking into it. If we've had quite a few orders out of Africa, but you're right. The book needs to get into the schools. There's an organization called Association of African Universities who are a member of ADDI. So we are in conversation. They are aware of the book, and I'm hoping that they will come back with a proposal on how they can get Africa 101 into the university systems. But more important, really, I think we need to start in high schools, if not even middle schools.
Correct.
I'm hoping somebody can turn it into a cartoon, even for preschoolers, you know, where you
Exactly.
can demonstrate
Even
the
for
Berlin
kids,
Conference,
man.
how it
Even
happened,
for kids.
the Leopold in Congo, and the things that he did, just the things that shows how mean and cruel these people are. And if
Correct.
somebody can convert it into a cartoon, so we can start with children at a very young age, so they understand how cruel some of what has been done to Africa is.
Absolute. Absolute. On point. Yes. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask some question. I'm calling from the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yes, how we can join the ADDI?
ADDI from the Netherlands.
Yes.
Okay. For now, I know you can go through the homepage which we just posted at www.ouraddi.org, but we will be setting the branches in Europe, on the continent, and in the diaspora. Mom, am I right?
You're correct, yes. And again, that's part of what I'm saying. When we're raising this 1 million for operations for ADDI, that's all the work that needs to be done, and each office has to be staffed.
Mm-hmm.
Going to do for the ADD and for the Africa continent, especially, you know, because what we are seeing, what is going on in Africa with the diasporas, Africans and the diasporas all over the world, we don't like it, you know. So we need something like this to be built down. So we can easily, you know, come and ask some question and know what to do for the African people, for the African continent, because we want to go back. For me, I'm living in Netherlands here for almost 30-something years, and I'm scared to go down there because of the situations, what is going on there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll keep you informed. Right now, the whole world is in a lockdown. So, but normally, Excellency would have been touring Europe from the plans that we had 2019 until the pandemic came. So everything is just chilled down now. That's why we need to raise our funds when the world opens, and then she's gonna make that tour, take your questions, meet you face to face. You know, so it's opening soon. Get ready, okay? Netherlands, we're coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, ADDI is a place that we can all have one unified voice. We can raise our concerns as diaspora with one unified voice, rather than 400 million voices speaking a different from different
Yeah.
platforms. It becomes chatter, and nobody's going to listen to us.
Exactly. All right. Tracy, I'm taking your call from UK. Hello. I know everybody wants to talk to mom. She's going to be here every Saturday. Let me just give you the good news. Twice in a month, thrice in a month, but every Saturday, even she will be here for 10 minutes, and the team of the ADDI will be here. I already had been telling you the whole week. So please save some of your questions or keep it short. You're still going to be seeing her now often. Okay. Go ahead. Hello, Tracy.
Hello, good evening. Hi, good evening, Sister Dr. Susan. Hi, good evening, Dr.
Good evening.
Arikana. And we just want to welcome you here, Mom. We are very excited to see you here. You've been doing an amazing job within the continent. I just have a quick question. I'm ready to start with the ADDI, but I was just asking, I don't know if there's like an app or if we can come up with an app, because a lot of people don't really go through their emails. All the notifications I receive regarding businesses and opportunities in Africa only come through email. And I think these days, with the latest technology, people are quick to go on their app and, you know, send comments, and people are very lazy to go through email and click on the links to go on the website.
Correct.
So is it something that is already in existence, or something that we are looking forward to put together just to make sure that we become more innovative in this area? Thank you.
All right.
We actually have a very good IT team that's led by Brother Jote Tedese. And so that's actually a very good idea. We don't have we don't have the
app yet. It's in
app yet,
development.
but we have a very strong IT team, which I hope if you're an IT person, you need to join. I will definitely let Brother Jote know. By the way, we have now very solid sector lead directors of various sectors that are doing tremendous work. And so IT is another one that's very strong. So I'm definitely going to let Brother Jote know to make sure that he can call on his team to create that app. Very good suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, ma. Hello.
Dr. Arikana and Dr. Tata.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, I'm calling you from Kenya, East Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had the great contributions from Diaspora.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether I'm the only one who is listening you from Africa.
No, sure. You are not sure. We're streaming even on Professor PLO Lumumba's page live in Kenya, and there are more than 1,000 watching right now. So you're not the only one. Go ahead.
That's great. So I've listened to, I think most people have listened to Martin Luther King, what he said, and others. There's another president who just passed recently, Jerry Rawling from Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the great president we have had with the great contributions to the continent. Huh? So I think with the Africans from diaspora who come to invest in Africa, I think you are supposed to do good research, because for you to invest in supposed to, then you can move well, and you can do well good with your investment. And opening the branches, I really congratulate that one. And we are supposed to educate the young Africans, the young youths, the young kids by coming up, so that they know that we are the best. What we do is right. It's not determined by like the small children. You just find them saying that they are doing something good, like white, of which is wrong. It's the education system that's altering how people think. Like me, I came to realize how great Africa is when I'm done. When I was somewhere in high school, I was serious reading in the books of history. Yeah, now with those who don't read the books of history, I just understand the problem they're having. So that's what opened up my mind to know that I'm an African who is very intelligent, who is very strong, who is very pure, yeah, with the melanin in me. So I knew that we were great leaders, because before colonization, Africa, we are the first people who had kingdoms, and the kingdoms were led by the kings. Like in Uganda, we had the Kabakats, we had the Shaka Zulu. Nobody talks about Shaka Zulu. Nobody talks about the great leaders we had from West Africa. Now, with that, I think the education system is supposed to be friendly, like we get our own history, first-hand information from our own.
Okay.
We teach our, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for your contribution. Of course, these are things that we're following the conversation. After that, you can watch even the past programs. They are all things that we've been talking. I think you're new here. So thank you, brother. Everything is what we're putting on under our ADDI. Do you know about the ADDI in Kenya? All right. Okay. After the conversation, we're going to talk about it. Okay. This is the organization that Her Excellency represents. We want you young people out there, or you to get the message out there. It's beginning now, and we're going to continue. Okay. Thank you very much. Mom, I know that it's getting a little bit tight here with questions. Please, if you can really ask direct questions like how do we access, how do we register, when do we pay, and issues like that. That would direct us. We already know the concepts and what we want to achieve, what you as Africans already know. And so please, no offense, just keep it straight, okay? Remember, the topic is we need to put our money where our mouth is. Hello.
Yeah, good. What do I say? Good evening.
Whatever.
From Nigeria.
Yes.
Susan, God bless you. Mommy Africa, God bless you.
Okay. Thank you.
This is it of Nathaniel. I want to ask, I just joined the program, but I want to know what ADDI is all about. One-on-one Africa, what they are all about. And I'm going to register into the ADDI.
ADDI, in a nutshell, is an organization that was created to be the bridge between the African diaspora and the motherland. ADDI is an organization that's hoping to get as many African diaspora as well as companies to come and be part of. This is where we get to unite for the purposes of bidding on larger contracts, for communicating the activities that are going on, developments that are going on the continent. It's really just a place that we can come together and speak about diaspora issues with one voice. Africa 101 is a book that I wrote as a way of educating ourselves in terms of our history, where we have been, where we are, and what we need to do to change our circumstances as the Black people. We are the most disrespected race on earth. That is a situation that has to change. And for us to change that dynamics, it all boils down to we are disrespected because we are poor. We're perceived as being poor. Individually, yes, we are poor. Collectively, we are far from being poor. It's all about unity. So Africa 101 is saying, know your history. Wake up from your slumber of over 400 years. Because as long as we continue to suffer from the legacy of slavery and colonization, we actually cannot help ourselves. We are defeated before the game even begins. The self-hate that's a result of the legacy of slavery and colonization is what's keeping us from coming together and do what other races have successfully done by uniting. And I talk about the different diaspora organizations, diaspora groups in Europe, in the United States, the Chinese diaspora, the Irish diaspora. They all speak with one voice when it comes to issues pertaining to their nationalities and their races. We Black people have dismally failed. Africa 101 is saying, understand where we have been, and we hope through reading Africa 101, you'll be on a journey to self-healing and self-discovery.
Hey, hello, Cuckoo. Welcome to the show. Hello. Hello, you're connected. Yes, go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you one-on-one.
Right, thank you. My name is Joseph. I am calling from India.
From India? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, I want to use this very opportunity to appreciate your show and to also appreciate our mother, Dr. Arikana. She has been a very great voice for advocate of better Africa and for the goodness of Africa, also for the improvement of life and the well-being of all Africans. I want to really appreciate her because she is really doing a good job. It's not easy. It's been a very long battle that I see she is facing because she's not doing it without getting attacked. And I want to also thank PLO Lumumba. He is doing a very great job too, as well as CIC Julius Mema. He is also doing a very good job. These are the kind of people we need in Africa in order to liberate ourselves. Because we know that the Western world, they want us to remain slaves. They want us to remain in poverty for a very long time. And I think it's a high time that we have to stand up and do what is right so that we can be able to get back to our feet. Okay. Because right now Africa is down. And I'm a very strong advocate that we should be able to encourage our young youth to join politics. Because
the youth of these days get to think that politics is a dirty game just because of the way that our politician conducts things in the political level. So I am encouraging our youth to also get in politics, as our people, some young Ugandans are doing today through OBY, and also as young South Africans are doing today through Los Mema. It is very, very important that the young youth will get involved in politics and stop being afraid of all these old men. Because through these old men, we were clean. You understand?
Yes.
So I am also using this very platform that it is very, very important that Africans and the African head of the state should engage our brothers in America, the African America, in order to encourage them to come back home and invest in Africa. We need to create an enabling ground that will make them to come back and invest in Africa. When we get...
Wait, brother, just hold on. I know, I'm sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to know, do you have an African organization in India? How can we mobilize Africans in India, you know, to be a part of the ADDI? That's very interesting.
Yes, we have an African organization here in India. Okay, when there is a city I used to live before that is called Bangkok, we used to have a Pan-African Union, the concept of Uganda, Tanzania, and all the rest of the Africans. Understand?
Okay.
So, yes, we have an organization that is you know, working for the affairs of all Africans.
Okay. All right. Thank you, because I'm saving your contact and we will get in touch with you right now. I think there's some interruptions on the side of Her Excellency. And when she's back, I just noted your questions and your comments and we'll get back to her, okay? Hello, is she back? Mom, are you okay with your technique? I think there was some... Doctor? It's not hearing. Hello? Just taking the call. Hello? Go ahead. I think she's trying to set it out with the technique out there. Just speak. She's listening.
Okay. I was listening with the discussion with Dr. Arikana. This was to me. I'm living in Finland, and it was the first time I heard this ADDI. And what I wanted to ask is about what is the main vision and the mission of African Diaspora Development?
My God. Please, I think you have to watch this video because she's been saying it for a couple of times ever since she was here. And if you will have to answer everyone, or you go to just www.ouraddi.org, because that's what she's been doing for the past 1.5 hours here. And she will be repeating herself, and she just explained it now a couple of minutes ago. Okay? Yes. Thank you very much. After the show we're producing, we'll watch the video again, and you'll get the message so that we get the calls. Thank you. Hello? To me? She's not hearing.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, it's okay. Go ahead. Dr. Arikana, can you hear me? Go ahead with your call.
Okay. Yes, will do. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you for being everything that you are, Dr. Arikana. On the website, I noticed that there are several places to donate. So you know, there are different projects. Is this where you're saying we can put our $1,000? So do we disperse it between these different projects? Whether it's the Legacy Project, the Women Empowerment Project, the Youth Empowerment Project, any of those, or do we just join the movement and we do a blanket donation? What's the best way do you recommend? And this is Blind Guy, his wife, their life, Dr. Susan Tata.
When I just heard your voice, I already know who was talking. So it was not just even a... I get the point where you're going. These questions have been coming up also, like, yes, you know, it's just where do we do the donation? Where is it channeled to? Because when you go on the website, you see these different icons. You actually don't know where. Should we just send it at this? It's just unfortunate she's not here now. Her technique is acting up. But I noted the question, Queen, and yes, but if we don't get her back here, she's going to be here every Saturday, because it's a whole program that we've mapped out with ADDI to take these questions, because it's the main pillar that we have as the diaspora. We don't have anything existing anywhere, so we all have to come up and understand it. For last year, they were busy trying to create the concept, the goal, get the teams, get the representatives, and then COVID came in. But anyway, now at least they are now starting to do the public relation and give and take questions. Today she was just here again to show her face, be in. But the next coming ones, we'll be talking about finance, talking about legal, talking about business, and on every edition is going to be a particular topic. And I think that would make things more clearer, isn't it? Because it's huge.
Yes. Well, true. But my thing is, if we're all here now, there are 3,000 of us watching, and we all just know that absolutely, just give $5, give $100, give 300, 500 today to any of these on the website, then we know it's a donation. We know it's going to advance the movement. So I just, figured from her perspective, it's all the same to her, because everyone is equally important. Each one of these agendas is equally important, because we have to put our money where our mouth is instead of waiting till next Saturday. So I figured,
that's right.
See if she finds one that's more important, then great. We'll all listen to her for today and start there. But if not, then all of us can just simply go to the website at ouraddi.org and and just choose one of those and donate, instead of keep asking questions so that we can delay our action. We can act right now. There's
correct.
No reason why we can't.
Yes. Unfortunately, she's not here. She's just been thrown out.
No problem.
Let me try and get her on the contact again. If I refresh, maybe she'll be able to join again. So give me some time. We take a break, we refresh, and please don't go away. We'll get her back to get these donations open. That's actually the initial aspect of opening up and officially launching. Yeah. So give us a time, just 1 minute. Let's take a break, and then we see if we can get her back again. Wow. What is going on? You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. We don't need to divide these fundings. We want to package everything under the ADDI and see how we collaborate and and manage these processes. I'm getting a technical signal from my technical team. What's going on? Did you get the sound out there? This must be some malicious action going on there. She's just been thrown out. I can't get here and now. All right. Hello. Okay. Do you get the sound? Can you hear me? Please just thumb up so someone just like, all right. Okay. Now we know it. We know what is going to happen and we know what has been happening. Mom, are you there? No. And so she can't join. She's not going to be anytime soon here. We know it from experience. Yeah. And we've been seeing them in the chat room, trying to shut us down. Please let us respect ourselves. This is the African platform, and we are talking about the development of African, and Africans want to take or are taking up the position to develop their country. So you stay out of trouble, stay out of engaging here. This is not a platform for non-Africans. It's a platform for Africans, okay? I mean, you who know it on the chat and spilling out all those kind of hate and comments, please, this is not a platform for you. We do respect, okay? Good. So yeah, we are ending up this show. We just 4 minutes into it, and I don't see her coming anytime soon. But like I said, it's a continuous program that we're going to be doing the whole month. Every Saturday, ADDI is going to come up. PLO Lumumba Foundation is going to come up. All the structures that we're putting up together, present their projects, present their program, but we want to rally under one structure so that we can act. We have a lot in it. The investment programs is going on, the Wakanda City is going on, the Pan-African Daily TV satellite is going on, and just more. Where do we start? How do we channel our funds? Like speaking for one voice, one Africa, one structure. How do we do it? We have a couple of small structures. Everyone wants to create a group. Everyone wants to create a Pan-African this. How do we function as one people? We're not going to be dividing the funds. If I'm contributing or you're contributing, we know we have a satellite project that is going on here. That is my focus. But I'm also sitting on the board of the ADDI to see how do I, as a media, channel the projects on the ADDI. But of course, I know my objectives and my followers and you standing out there, we need to get a satellite for the main TV. We need to get that. So the structures may be looking complicated, but all of us, we're calling on us to start a funding. Once we get the funding, we will select everything and everything will just fit in the right place. It is not easy. Like you heard her said, it is just not easy. Let's not think that something that has been destroyed for 400 decades and more, we're just going to do it in a year. No. So all these confusions would come. All your questions are being taken into consideration. But at the end of the day, we will have to get the structure. But us just already talking about it is already too much work. Now, is Dr. back?
Can you hear me?
Oh, thank you. Thank God. You're back here.
Finally. You kicked me out.
I don't know what happened because even me, sound was gone, everything was gone. So I think it's not a platform.
That's technology.
Yes, that's technology. There was a very interesting question coming up, ma'am, that they were thinking today we would have just opened something and say, put your money here, who is contributing what, and not that we'll have to wait till Saturday.
Now people can always go to ouraddi.org and go to ADDI Operations Fund, or they could also be the $1 Million Campaign. So you can go to either one, the Operations Fund or the $1 Million Campaign, and you can just donate with your credit card.
All right, so but these structures are already on our ADDI.org. I'm just asking so that the listeners
Yes, it's on the ADDI.org. So yes, if you want to give, you can go to ADDI.org, yes.
All right.
If I can't overemphasize what we are getting ready to do. If you had participated in today's program with Zambia, you'd have a very good idea of what we are doing. We can't continue to do that to perpetuity with volunteers. We need work, and the volunteers have done a great job. Nobody is getting paid. But I really think that I will never get paid. I have no intentions of getting paid for what I do for ADDI. But I think in due course, those who continue to work for ADDI, at some point, they've got to start getting paid. We need to start sending people. I didn't even talk about the city of return that we have been invited to facilitate the construction of in Cape Coast, Ghana. Again, we're talking about, they've given us 5,000 acres of land. About 100 of those acres are right on the ocean in Ghana. And they want a city of return, which will be the home for those descendants of the formerly enslaved. You're talking healing from a very deep level, something that has been needed. And so we're very grateful to President Anado for even coming up with that idea as a follow-up to the year of return, which he declared 2019. So again, we're gonna need, we had a team of 9 diaspora to go and visit the site end of December into first part of January. They paid their own way. We can't keep doing it. If we're gonna really get the work done, yes, diaspora will give, I can tell you that. Diaspora will travel, diaspora will contribute, but again, it's on as available basis. We really, if we're going to run this organization and create an entity that's gonna pave the way for us to invest in Africa, it takes money. There's no two ways about it. We would like to have, they gave us an office already in Cape Coast, Ghana. Now we need to staff it with people who are going to be ADDI and representing ADDI and lobbying on behalf of the diaspora. Zambia, because of the projects presented today, there are going to be a lot of opportunities coming out. I'm not going to allow anybody to invest in Africa through ADDI when we don't have an office in a country. We have got to be protected. So again, opening another office in Zambia, we cannot be having people stationed in those offices just as volunteers. So let's be serious about what we want to build. This is an entity that belongs to everybody, and everywhere where we go in each country, we're going to be led by diaspora from that country, plus of course, at least another diaspora from another country and a local person. At a minimum, that's gonna be the staffing for each office. All those people need funding. Plus those who are going to be traveling for ADDI purposes to also make sure that even after we do the presentation, we go and vet all the different projects that have been presented, and we come back and report and say, this is a better situation. Because today we really had a lot of beautiful low-hanging fruits, but they still need to be analyzed. It's one thing to talk about it on a webinar, but as soon as the country opens, which we hope will be soon, we want to send our own teams to evaluate those projects so they can come back and advise the diaspora about what we should start with. And that's all takes money.
Absolute. And then just thinking about the concept of also, why must anything Africa, just like we're saying, always be free? So if we don't have and we don't want to get loans, the same thing that we're saying, we cannot be doing the same thing as well. And so we have to create, and in any case, I don't see us getting out of this when we don't have our own fund where we put our own monies and then start ditching out or creating this project. And why should it be always volunteering when it comes to Africa? Like you're saying, all of us, I'm on the Pan-African Daily, day and night, volunteering, putting out the money into the work. At some point of time, to build the Africa that we want, we have to think business. We have to put our money where our mouth is. If not, we get tired and burn out and discouraged. Nobody is always gonna do this. Why? Right?
The truth of the matter is, if we all just came together, even if you said $10 is what I can afford, $10, 1,000 people with $10, that's 100. That's 100,000. It's very easy to build up the money with very little. We're asking people to give money they would spend and not even think twice about it.
Correct.
$1,000 a year is equivalent to $83 US a month. So if we were to take 2 million people with $42 a month, that's $1 billion. So we're not talking a lot of money. If you really think about it, we're talking pocket change. Monies that we go to McDonald's and spend much more than that without even thinking about it. So we're saying that pocket change, it comes together and makes a bigger thing. We're not asking you to give anything that you think is too painful. nothing that you can afford to do without. As an example, to just say, this is what we can happen when we pull our monies together. 2 million people with $42 a month, we're sitting at $1 billion. And that's a good place to start if we were to now talk about, for example, the fund. So when we get you more information about the fund and the money people, I can't really explain all details about the money people. And legally, I'm not qualified to talk about money investments. So we have to get our investment team and the legal team to do a presentation of how these investments are going to be set up and how you can participate. But again, just to give you a preview, what we saw today from Zambia, whatever you guys decide to get involved in through the trade and investment sector, SPVs are going to be created, which are investment clubs. And that's where you put your money. And that's where you invest. You don't invest in ADDI. ADDI is a non-profit organization. What we're looking for now, the funds we're talking about, the $1 million campaign, it's for ADDI, which is a non-profit. And that's why it has to be a donation.
Absolute. Okay, good. I think we above that time. What do you're on Saturday, right? Is it possible? Hello?
I did not hear the question. There was a break.
Yes, I'm asking if we're on Friday next week.
If you want me, yes, just check with Ola. And like I said, I have given my life to this movement. As long as I'm available, if you double check with Ola and I'm available, I will be here.
Okay. All right, Ma. Thank you very much.
Is it next Friday or next Saturday? Is it next Friday or next Saturday?
Saturday. I'm sorry. I think today is Friday. Saturday.
Saturday, that's correct.
Yes,
Yes, Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes, I believe Ola has blocked that, yes.
Yes, and then the UK is asking, is there going to be a branch in the UK very soon? Do you want us to answer all that about branch or this on Saturday?
And let me say this, there's been talk about the branch in the UK. Excuse me for just a second.
It's okay.
There's been talk about a branch in the UK, but I remember one time they wanted to know if the headquarters could give them £5,000 to register their entity. And my question was, where do I get the 5,000 from? Do I get it from other diaspora who have contributed? And how do I explain to other diaspora that the money that you gave us, we gave it to the chapter in the UK to register themselves? And they were the same people who turn around and they got a slew of questions about accountability and where the money is going. You haven't put in a penny. You want headquarters to use money that's been donated by other diaspora to give it to you to register your entity. We need to be serious, guys. We need to be serious. And so I have to deal with all that kind of level of stupidity sometimes, but that's okay. It comes with the territory. I'm a mother, I can take it. So there's been talk of an entity in England, but all I get so far is endless questions and no action. I don't know if I have to fly to the UK and help them register an entity. But there are people who have shown an interest, but I haven't seen anything formalized yet.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll clear all that. These are all quite open questions. The branches are going to come, Europe, Germany, all the other parts. Everything is under organization. But if you want to think that it's a place where we're going to ask for funding, no. ADDI is about building this fund. If we would do the 1 million project, then we can start see how we fund also other small issues. And so you can put your project. But right now, we need to first of all fund the mama. And then we see how we take it from there. Mom, thank you very much. I know even your grandkids, they're calling, I think, for dinner out there or whatever now. So
they just want to play. They've eaten already. They just want to play.
They're already taking their position. One last word before we leave you today, Mama.
Well, the last word is ADDI is an entity for all of us to come together and speak with one voice. We're at a critical time in our history that if we do not unite, the rest of the world is going to move into Africa and they will take over our Africa. they will own our Africa. And when they do, this time is for good. I'm only asking that as African diaspora, let's stop and think about what is going on. Let's stop and think about what we are doing. And above all, 20 years from now, like I often say, if your children, grandchildren were to come to you and say, grandmother, grandfather, there were problems with our beloved continent of Africa. There were problems with the Black race around the globe. What did you do?
Oh,
I need you to be able to have an answer for that. And I would hope your answer 20 years from now is going to be that, my brothers and sisters, we got together. We pulled our funds together. We pulled our intellectual capacity together. This is what we accomplished. While the mission may not be complete, this is where we left. And that this is where our grandkids can also call up their brothers and sisters. They pick up where we left and they can continue this struggle. We also want to make sure that because of the work that we would have done united, that they will have strong shoulders to stand on, that they will have the assurance that we will always, always have their back. So the journey for us to have that kind of answer to our children, our grandchildren 20 years from now, the preparations begins with what we are doing today. So I urge all of you to take a moment and consider joining African Diaspora Development Institute. Joining is free. You don't have to contribute if you don't want to. But we are simply saying, even when those opportunities come, we don't want to leave you behind. Even if it's just for the sheer purposes of letting you know what is going on in your beloved continent, we want to know. We want to have an opportunity to let you know. And it's only fair that for you to make the right decision, you got to be in the know. So join ADDI and let's begin the journey back home to Africa as a united front of Mother Africa's children. I thank you.
thank you so very much, sweet mother. Thank you. We have missed this parting. We've missed all this, peppering. I mean, our men come here and we talk about other things, but when you hear the voice of a mother, of a woman, of a daughter, of a wife, of everything, it is just the right place to be. So we thank you. We're going to see ourselves again on Saturday, and every questions that we've all gathered here, we're going to put it again. And if there's some things that we still need to redress, we're going to give it back to you. Thank you so very much. Greetings at home, and take care of them and tell them we all love them and that we will not disappoint, and that we will not disappoint them. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and all of you listeners. I thank you again for supporting Susan and all the great work that she is doing. This is what it's going to take. I like to see platforms like Susan develop into what we would call our own African News Network. I think we can reach more people through these platforms than any commercial that we could pay for on CNN or any of these major news outlets. So Susan, thank you, my daughter. Keep up the great work of believing in us. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Queen Mother. Thank you, everything. Yes, thanks. Good. And to you, my lovely, lovely, lovely brothers and sisters, I want to thank those that have been supporting this evening. And for you, if you don't know, we have a super chat. And so people are asking, like, how can I support? We just got, wow, our biggest sponsor here. Every time he's here, he's going to give us a $50. I mean, that is so warm-hearted. Feli, you also gave us some support tonight. We also had $10, coming this evening. Wow, this is really Reggie Phil. Thank you so much. You open up the coffers. If we can do that every evening when we're sitting here, we're going to start already putting our own structure. As you have seen on the ADDI, they have different departments. Me, Susan Tata at the Pan-African Daily TV, our job is to build the media. We're not going to run away from that. And we also have our guests that are always here to tell us, you know what, this is the platform that we need to empower. This is the network amongst other networks out there. No disrespect for any other network, be it the Diaspora Channel, be it the African Tigress, be it Dr. Mumbi, be it Wuda Maya, be it all of Susan West. Oh my God, shout out to you, girl, in UK. be it Susan West, be it all the voices, all the networks that are speaking on our behalf, that are working for us. You know, we all would come together one day, whether we like it or not, sooner or later. But right now, we encourage each and every one of us doing that powerful work out there, sitting like I'm sitting here every day, giving the mother what they need, supporting each and every one of us. There's no better place to do. And there's just no better thing to do in life and in humanity to fulfill the need of our people than this. So I want to thank you all for contributing. Yes, yes, I hear some people already asking, when are you going to change your name and put it to Efwa? Yes, Nana Efwa is coming. And I just want to even announce it to you that a community in Ghana is giving me that title of a Queen Mother Nana. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. You'll be informed about the ceremony, officially the coronation. Can you just imagine? I am Queen Mother of a community of elders and people and children in Ghana. Wow. I cannot wait to officially announce that, and we all will be celebrating that. Yeah, so we keep up the flame blaming. Who is coming up tomorrow? I already told you, Dr. Edwin Nichols is one of the best, the God that we have in our own time. Too much wisdom, too much experience, too much expertise, whether it is in European culture and African culture, that intercultural mix on what he calls leadership and culture that has partitioned our brains. And so we are Spanish Africans, we are African Americans, we are African Europeans, we are African UK. Can you imagine us with all these particles of the different cultures, their languages, their food, their way of thinking, their way of business? I mean, can you imagine what brains we, the Black people, have to embody all these small particles of other cultures, and we're still standing tall? That is perfection. There's no other creation like the Black being, honestly, upon all what we've taken and placated everywhere, and we're still standing today. So I want to thank us and congratulate. Make it a date with us tomorrow. Yes, make it a date with us tomorrow. Let us hear from this great expert and scholar what he has for us. They have a lot, and they're putting on a big legacy plan on history and culture as a giveaway. Like I told you, the Pan-African Institute for Applied Knowledge. And so journalism, the kind of things that we're doing, all of us, the Woody Myers, and so producing content that is Afrocentric, you know, and getting even the people on the street to just use your camera and bring us good stories. We're looking forward to build that wonderful, beautiful motherland that we all dream, the paradise, like you heard our Queen said, the Garden of Eden. We're going to reconstruct it again, and all the apples like we know. Right. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your contribution. We see us tomorrow, same time again. Bye bye. Good night. All the best.